the signing of Blake Griffin is the big one. He's an addition. Clearly, last 2 seasons he played in Brooklyn. What was both of you initially, what did you think about this addition to the lineup, knowing the lack that the Celtics have right now in depth?
I want to take more of a wait and see on Blake, because when I think about Blake now versus the totality of his career, it's a very different outlook. When I see Blake now, the first person that comes to mind is Shaquille O'Neal. Not so much as far as like Shaquille O'Neal came to Boston at the end of his career. That's not what I think of. I think about Shaquille O'Neal in the studio watching Jason Tatum put in that work while Blake is guarding him and start saying, barbecue chicken, barbecue chicken. And that's what I think about Blake. I mean, he did not play particularly well when he was in Brooklyn. And again, you don't expect, 6-time All-Star Blake, but it just seemed that his game had really, really, really taken a downward spiral. But if you're the Celtics, you look at your roster and you look who's available, and Blake, even in his, downgraded state, is probably better than most of the guys that they have. To me, the key is going to be how will guys like Sam Hauser, and Fiondu and some of the other guys, Noah Vonleh, a guy that I really like a lot, how will they challenge Blake in terms of minutes played? Because they're a little bit younger, a little bit more spry, a little more bounce, more pep in a step than he has. But he's got old man wisdom on his side. He's a smart, heady player. And Gary, I know that was something that you were harping on a lot the last few weeks when it seemed that they needed to add something. And I know you were really really bullish on them adding a veteran. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on Blake.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good addition. Like, what I prefer, probably Carmelo. Yeah, because
you prefer Carmelo.
His ability to score, his ability to score and help them offensively. But they need some bulk in the paint. Like, you got Al Horford, Robert Williams out for 3 months, likely. We're not going to see him until the first of the year. And you got Luke Cornett, and then, Fiondu Kabengele, and then Noah Vonleh. Yeah, got it right. I told you when the season comes.
I'm going to say by the time preseason starts.
Yeah, I told you. So
Rosetta Stone kicking in. I see. Okay.
For me, like, I just think a veteran leader, he knows. I was very impressed by what he told us yesterday. Like, he knows he's not Blake 2010, 2015, not even 2017 when he made last week the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
But he averaged like 25 for Sherrod's Pistons. Like, he knows he's not that guy. Now, can he help them? He can shoot better from the perimeter. He's obviously taken way more threes in recent years than he did with his Clipper years. He can rebound. He can he can take a charge. Now, do you want him guarding, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, on the perimeter? No. But hopefully, if you're the Celtics, you don't put him in that position to where he's exposed that way. I remember Marcus Smart had a really interesting comment after they beat Detroit about basically, like, Blake is not the defender or the player he once was. And so I don't think they're asking him for a lot. I just think they're asking for leadership, bulk in the paint, score at the rim, get to the free throw line. He can that one game they threw him into the playoffs, he impacted that game. Now, did they target him defensively? Yes, they did. But I think the Celtics feel like their defense is good enough. This is not Brooklyn's defense, right? This is the Celtics defense. You don't expose him like that and have him ISO one-on-one with literally Paul George or Kawhi or guys that can just go to the rack on him. So they're going to have to protect him. But I thought it was a good sign. They needed someone else besides Al in terms of leadership, in terms of someone who can, those guys know him. They've seen him dunk over people. They've seen what he can do. There's an admiration there. Those guys were, watching from their houses, they uncle's basement or whatever, when he was jumping over a Kia. So they know who he is. Yeah. And sometimes that name recognition, and it's not like Blake's like, okay, I need to start. Okay, I need to play 30 minutes. He's not coming in like that. He wants to stay in the league. I mean, I think that unfortunately for a lot of those guys in that generation, look at the guys that are still at home. Carmelo, LaMarcus Aldridge, Dwight Howard and DeMarcus Cousins and plenty of others, our friend Isaiah Thomas, like that generation, those guys who were 32, 33 now are getting nudged out the league. Blake's like, I'm going to get in where I fit in. If I got to be a leader and play 8 minutes a game or get a rebound, a tough board and give our team, that's what I'm going to do because he wants to win a chip. And he knows he's not what he once was. I think that's a good thing for him to be. He said self-awareness is key, is how he keeps himself in the league. And a lot of, as I said, we know, and Sherrod can tell you more like about Allen Iverson or guys who didn't ever want to admit that they had lost a step or they were a different player and then didn't want to adjust their games. And Carmelo was almost out the league for that same reason. Like, you're not what you were, adjust to it, and you can stay in the league.